Hello, hello. We've had an unexpectedly gorgeous day today because it was absolutely horrendous the last 2 days. Rain, winds, closed roads, flooding, storms, the works. But it is glorious. So I decided to do something a little bit different today. Although we will be finishing off the paneling in the van, I will also be doing the first fix electricals that have to go behind the paneling, like my ground for my bus bar, my earth from my consumer unit, and I will fit the cable for the battery to battery charger. Let's get on with it. Now I can't remember if I mentioned this in my last video, but my first job will be bringing the conduit out in that bottom corner below that panel for my battery to battery charger. Though normal hole saws do work quite well in sheet steel, it's always better if you get something dedicated. So I've got this little bad boy. This is for cutting 25mm holes for grommets in sheet steel. To have my electrical conduit coming out here and going around here, I have a grommet going in metal. But on looking at it, I have noticed it will also need to go through my panel, because if I stick my fingers down here, the bulkhead ends about here and it ends about here. So I'm going to have to go through the panel as well. So the first thing I need to do is pull this insulation out, because it will get tangled around my drill bits. I'm going to go through about here. So to do that, I will put this in place and I will pilot drill, so I can drill the hole in the same place in both the panel and the chassis. There. There we go. It should be close enough. Yeah, drilling through carpet is always a pain. As you see, it gets wrapped around the drill. Anyway, I can switch to my funky little metal saw now. Where's my hole? There. Oh no. Did not expect that. You can see I had a little bit of bad luck where the hole saw actually grabbed the carpet and pulled it off. So that's going to be a repair job for Kerry. Fortunately, it's right in the corner, so I'm not too worried about it because not much of this will be visible. But nonetheless, Kerry is not going to be happy. I don't know where it's grabbing that carpet anymore. Job done. Let me install this grommet. Well, there's a slight indentation here, so the grommet didn't fit as well as I'd hoped, but it does fit. So yeah, we have a hole. I can stick this back down here now. And this will be where my conduit comes out for there. Alright, now I've got to make my hole in here without hopefully dragging out too much of the carpet.
I don't know, I spent ages carpeting these things.
I'm not going to damage it.
I don't trust you.
I'm not going to damage it. Have faith.
I don't trust you.
There we go. And I didn't ruin the carpet. For this next section, I'm actually back in the house in Kerry's commandeered gym, which I've filled up with all my stuff, including the motivational message, "Nes you puke, feign or die, epping." Yes. Now I know this is a video about fitting the rest of our panels, but there are a few things I have to take into consideration. Before fitting the final panel on the side of the van, I have to account for my electrical connections. In particular, I have two connections which need to ground to the chassis of the van. The first one will be my ground from my bus bar on my negative side. That will be 16mm cable. The point of that one is it will be the ground for my battery to battery charger. As such, it doesn't need to be any bigger than 16mm. Nothing else will be grounded to the chassis. The second wire that has to go to the chassis will be from my consumer unit, and that will be my earth cable. That's 10 mil. That will mean that when I'm plugged into shore power, which will be a conventional electrical supply, if there is an electric fault anywhere in the van, it can earth against the chassis of the van and trip switches and trip MCDs and all that. Right, I did order some online, but they didn't come in time. I wanted brass bolts for ultimate electrical conductivity and corrosion resistance. I wanted M8, but I just couldn't get them. Only ones I could get today on short notice were M6. But they will do the job. They are rated high enough. Right, to connect my cables, I've got a 16 by 6 crimp and a 10 by 6 crimp. And I'm going to prefabricate these cables so I can install them before putting in the panel. So I need to start by stripping the cable about the length I need to put it into the socket. So yeah, get your Stanley knife, trim your cable. Got to be quite gentle not to damage any of the cores. There we go. Beautiful. So here we go, put my 16 by 6 on here. Get my crimping tool, which at the moment is set for 10. There we go. With these crimping tools, as you can see, it's written on them. You can spin it until you get the size you want to crimp. So this is 16 mil crimp. This will fit nicely. And put it in here. Now there's a fun part. You need 3 pairs of hands. There you go, once the clip's closed. That didn't work, did it? There we go, it's crimped. Give it a little pull and it shouldn't move. There we go, it's nice and tight. Oddly enough, the 16 mil crimp on this didn't do it. I've moved down to the 10 and it's crimped quite nicely. Interesting. I will also crimp it down one near the end of the cable. There we go, I've now got 2 solid crimps in this. That is not going anywhere. Okay, I need to do the same with the earth cable. So I work out roughly how long I need the stub to be. This one should fit in the cable strippers. Yes, beautiful. Now I'll try crimping this one in the 10 and see what happens. Again, it just pulled out. Okay, I think realistically, I need to go one size down whenever I'm crimping. I have no idea why that is. It's just the way it's panned out. There we go, one. Actually, I think that'll be fine. It's a very tight crimp. There we go, another tight crimp. As I said, I don't know why I have to go down one, but if it works, it works. Kerry just brought me some lunch. A hot dog with onions and brown sauce, and a packet of French fries. For those of you curious, that is how I managed to maintain my manly figure. It is my secret. Now that the crimps are in place, I need to add some shrink wrap. So I can feed the shrink wrap on from the back of the cable. While you are manufacturing your cables for your board, remember, if you are putting a crimp on 2 ends of a cable, you need to bear that in mind and put your shrink wrap on beforehand. There's one. And I've already fed it onto this one. 2. For this, I'm using a 350 watt mini hot air gun. You can use a full-size hot air gun for this, but they're a lot more powerful than people give them credit for, so you've got to be a bit careful with them. It's kind of like cooking a chicken in a blast furnace when you're using a full-size one. Beautiful. One. Would get a little closer, but it's as long as the cable will stretch. 2. Now on this one, I could have been a bit more careful with it. Well, it's hot. and I didn't push this quite far enough up, but it will do the job. It'll cover the majority of the fitting. So for that, I'm happy. Normally, I am a big advocate of situational awareness, being aware of what's going on around you in your workplace and being mindful of all your tools and your equipment. But today I had a day off, so I was moving the van to the side to make room for Kerry doing the last panels, and I ran over our step. Our banana-shaped step. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna need a new one of them. Nice one, Ian. Okay, now I am planning out my electrical connections to this bulkhead. My hole for my, as you can see, this hole lines up with that. My hole for my battery to battery cable is going to come through about here, which will be about here. The conduit will come through there, so that can be quite a small hole. I have two larger holes going through this panel, about here and about there. Realistically, the negative post from the bus bar and the 240 volt earth need to be about 30 centimeters apart. So yeah, there and there. I'll basically use a pencil to mark them on the back of the panel. I'll drill the holes in the panel first. I'll put the panel into position. Now I can pilot drill through the bulkhead and prep the surfaces. Okay, so we'll get this roughly in place. I need one about here on the back and one about there. Okay, that should do. That should give me an approximate place where to put my holes. First of all, my conduit hole, 25 mil, about there. Beautiful. Right, the two holes that I'm going to have the nuts to are going to be bigger, simply because the crimps will lie flat against the chassis. So there needs to be a bit of room for the crimp to lie and then come up. Now, if we put this board up and put it into place, I may have to trim around that wheel arch, make it slightly bigger. That's not a very good fit. Yeah, because it was tight in the other one. So I think I need to trim a centimetre off around that wheel arch. What say you?
Yep.
Okay, quick snag. I've tried fitting it. It doesn't really fit over the arch because of the insulation. So I'm going to have to trim a centimetre off around the arch. There we go, 1 centimetre off all the way around. There we go, that is a much better fit.
Oh, you hear my knee click.
I did hear your knee click. I think I want these two facing slightly inwards, so I'll put a teeny tiny bit of red tape, push it in about there. On the further to the left.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where do you want the pencil mark?
About there.
There.
Yeah. So Kerry's going to go carpet this panel now, and I'm going to carry on putting in the electrical cables ready to use. Okay, so next on the agenda for me is to pre-drill these holes, ready for the bolts. Right, the next job on the agenda is to clean up the surface on my two holes to ensure that I have a nice contact surface with this brass washer. A little tickle with a grinder with a flappy disc should be enough for that. You don't need to go crazy. little something I hadn't first saw is how exactly I'm going to get these bolts into the back. I mean, I have skinny fingers, but even they have a limit. Nope, I'm gonna drop it. Yay! Good Lord, that was hard. This one doesn't look like it's been quite as bad. Looks can be deceiving. This one's forcing me to use my left hand, which isn't actually as nimble as my right. Let's try this from a different approach. Let's slide down and use my right. Whoa. That's Carrie finished the panel, looking very pleased with herself, I might add. All those lovely holes.
Yeah, the holes turned out all right, actually.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, the next job on the agenda is to attach my cables. I can have them pointing inwards because obviously I marked at the side of the hole and the electrical board is going to be around about here. So these are longer than I need, but I'd rather waste a bit of cable and find out these are too long than find out they're too short. First is my chassis ground. So I put the crimp on, the washer, and then the nut. I'll have that facing inwards. I am going to use a torque wrench for this, bearing in mind they are brass bolts. If you over tighten them, they will shear. Also, the thermal expansion of brass is quite a lot. So if you over tighten them and they don't shear, they're just too tight. When they get really cold then, say in the winter time, they can actually shear from shrinkage. So I've got this set to 3 Newton meters. That should be more than enough to keep them tight. So let's have a look. There we go. Now the earth cable. Again, I'll do it hand tight. And I'll torque this to 3 Newton meters. There we go. Job's a good one. That is my cables in place. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these joints in dielectric grease. All right, there's a common misconception with this stuff that it actually conducts electricity. It doesn't. The purpose of dielectric grease is to make an electrical joint water resistant, so it resists oxidization. Obviously here we've exposed the bare metal of the van. Over time that will oxidize just in normal air. Plus a van is quite a humid and damp environment sometimes, so pays to do this. Nice generous blob. So all your bare metal bits are covered. There's now no danger of that corroding. And the same on the earth lead. Yep, it's dielectric grease. Basically stops any corrosion on the joints.
Do they stay greasy?
Yes.
So it always stays moist?
Well, it'll protect the bare metal of the van, it will. Because over time, that will begin to corrode. Dielectric grease stops that. Job done. We're now ready to thread the live cable through the conduit and then through the van for the battery-to-battery charger. First job is threading the conduit over the cable. Actually, the conduit has a split in it, so I can probably do it that way. He says,
Would you like me to do it?
I'll do it. It will go. There we go. I think this is going to take a while. Look at little Miss Show Off getting into her stride and showing me how it's done.
I've lost my rhythm now. That'd be quite therapeutic if you think about it.
Kerry has done a marvellous job putting the cable all through the conduit. So now we're going to thread it through the chassis of the van. So we start about here. I'll feed it through if you want to work your way through the chassis of the van. Right, you need to be gentle pulling it through that grommet or you'll pull the grommet out. So you need to feed it through the grommet with your hand. So give me a little bit more there, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, plenty there now. I need about a metre on this side. Then come up behind the panel, so that's great. Right, let's fit our panel. Thank you, Kerry. To me.
You.
Right, this should fit perfectly.
Oh, you do that quick in.
Kerry, it's raining.
Oh, it's raining.
Do you want to go deal with the outside stuff?
It's not actually raining. It's hailstoning.
Really? It's hailstoning. Do you need me to come out and help? You got this hailstone stuck to our panel.
My chair is covered in icicles.
She's really coming down. I should be helping her. Seriously, I have no idea where this weather came from. It was sunny and lovely, and all of a sudden it was hailstoning all over our stuff. There we go. Another panel fit. All right, I need to thread these through the relevant holes. This one through there. This one through here. I should tell you what, that's not going to work. I've done that wrong. These come through here.
Oh, you want me to push?
So I think put a screw through the middle and this one might be wise.
Oh.
What?
Look in the garden. All your washing was out.
Oh well. Booyah! Look at that! Fair play. That turned out lovely. And given how this panel went, it's almost a shame that we're going to be covering it up with the furniture. Bonus. I'm now going to be taking out the last two original lights. I got to admit, I won't miss these. Although they are super bright and they're really effective when it was a work van, they are kind of gutsy, and if you leave them on too long, they will run down the battery. So they should just pop out. They should just pop out. There we go. They should just pop out.
Right, they should just pop out.
Right, I'm not going to say they'll just pop out, because if I say they'll just pop out, they will fight me and they will win. So they won't pop out. They're going to be really awkward. Ow, ow.
Yeah,
They're going to be really awkward.
You're going to have your eye out.
Oh, this van hates me today. After much fighting, I got one. It'd be nice if they'd gone off, but I don't want to wait for the half hour it takes for them to go off. So I can unplug them and then wrap up the tails with tape.
Don't electrocute yourself.
No, I mean it's 12 volt and the tail is technically already insulated, but it is a good idea to wrap them up properly. There you go, that's probably overkill. And that's one wrapped up. There's Kerry attempting to do her final bit of insulation.
Yeah, but this one's going harder than the other lot. I think it's because my body knows that enough of insulating.
Just a quick update. Looks like I am a massive liar because I found the clip for the lights. Bonus. Ta-da!
You can do the other side now then.
There's Kerry starting to stick the roof insulation on.
The first stick.
Kerry looking pretty pleased with herself. She's insulated the roof and filled the channel with insulation. Ready for the roof to go on, or a ceiling I should say. Right, full disclosure. I noticed when I was editing our last video, we actually forgot to put a strip of fluffy insulation on that panel there. So it's just a closed cell insulation. I mean, considering that's behind the furniture, if there was any panel that I would want to leave uninsulated, it would be that one. That's probably a good thing because after doing the roof, that is literally all the insulation we have left. So yeah, that worked out all right. Although I was originally planning on doing the ceiling and the lights in the first fix electrical installation, unfortunately this video has dragged on a bit now and it's just running out of time. So I'll include that in another video. I gotta say, we're coming to the end of it now and it really feels like we're making massive progress. We're both excited and sad about the prospect of that because we've enjoyed the build process so much. We don't really want it to end. As much as we're looking forward to going out in the van, I think we'll miss the tinkering and the puttering and the messing about and figuring stuff out and the arguing that we've had on occasion. But yeah, it's coming along.